Hello. Um, Thank you for being on this AMA about BKN version 2. First than anything, I want to talk about what BKN 1 bring us. So thanks to the BKN 1, help us to bring to the real world assets on chain more than 30 countries, 100 and more clients, and we tokenize almost $500 million in tokenized value. But the market has been moved since we create the BKN one, and we are going to build an infrastructure layer for what we call agentic capital markets, where the tokenized assets, vaults, and other authorized AI can coordinate capital across chains. So BKN one was not built for carry that, and BKN two is is the smart play that we are doing for migrating and align with what we need to be the new infrastructure that we are going now. Okay, so thank you all of the supporters with the BKN1, and now we are going to the next layer that is going to be the architecture layer for agentic economies. So I don't know if we have some questions. Okay, I have a question here. Um, what was the single most important design decision behind the BKN version 2? So the biggest decision for the BKN2 was the implementation of CCIP to be able to be cross-chain. This is very important as we need to the asset, the BKN, be able to move across the different chains and more in an agentic economy, and do it in a secure way. With a, in a so um, Once we want to implement this agentic economy and use the BKN to fuel these agents, we need this asset to be able to move freely between the different chains, and we in that way we can have more markets and more chains. Well, um, how does Chainlink change this current chain issuance on RWA? Well, um, exactly. Thank you, Stefan. Well, before CCIP, the process to move between different chains, implement rapid tokens and different providers that third-party bridges that was in some way we need to have some trust assumptions in that bridges, and many problems we know happen with bridges and security. But with CCIP, you can use the decentralized oracles network to validate the messages. So it's not only one single custodian. In that way, the capital liquidity can flow the client, we can flow the jurisdiction, and, and in that way, we provide this ability for the DeFi market. Okay, so POR is often discussed for stablecoins. How does POR looks like when applied for tokenized real-world assets, and how does Brickken implement it? Okay, well, the proof of reserve with Chainlink, what we are implementing is different recipes for the different type of assets. Most of them, like stablecoins, could be backed by also gold. If we have a reserve of gold, they need to have this stream data directly from the token, and we prepare these assets. Now, with the new generation of tokens on Brickken using the 7943, we are creating tokens for utility, for stablecoins, for having all this compliant layer, and for stablecoins and equity, you can connect a provider for proof of reserve. In that sense, you can have this claim about what is behind your assets. Well, the biggest idea through well, Chainlink tech is really awesome, but how does this stack actually track? Well, concretely, it's not a single server ping and an API. This is a decentralized network, a decentralized Oracle network. So is independent of the node operators, pulls the reserve of price data, and reach a consensus on it. So it's a decentralized way to send these messages and more secure. You don't have one point of failure, and we, we have more trust in this process. Okay. Well, through the new BKN, as we move, when we start with the BKN, all these technologies well doesn't exist. So now with the implementation of CCIP in our code, we allow this interoperability in between the chains and allow us many other ideas. But really, the biggest point that we have on BKN2 is the use of CCIP and allow us to move trustless this asset between chains. What specific smart contract adjustments are required to ensure compatibility with BKN2? You don't need to do any changes on the smart contract adjustment at this point for the BKN2. The BKN2 is completely retrocompatible with any other of our Brickken solutions, so you don't need to be aware of any compatibility issue. Will proof of reserve cover all your tokenized assets? No, proof of reserve is a feature that you need to request when you create a token, a specific type of tokens. It's a feature that needs other setups and configuration as you need to do or due diligence with what is the proof of reserve and what is the type of asset. Each case of proof of reserve has their own singularities and need to be discussed and addressed with Chainlink team. You are providing using them as their oracle or your data feed. How does BKN to handle compliance and permissioning at the smart contract level without compromising compatibility with DeFi? Okay, well, directly the BKN2 doesn't handle the compliance and permissioning. We handle these in other layers of our protocol, like 7943 or in RAMs. So the BKN2 is freely transferable, and you can use it as you used to use the BKN version 1. So all the dev fees, pools, staking that you need, you are freely to move the assets. Is there a change in gas cost? No, not directly. It's okay. The gas and everything will be the same. We optimize as much as we can, but it's a transaction of a token. So the BKN2 doesn't have any changes directly related to gas cost. Which chains will BKN2 support at launch, and what's the roadmap for multi-chain expansion? Okay, well, BKN2 will be in the same networks that we have before, and we can be even more that doesn't really apply into our platform at this moment because you can use CCIP transporter to move your assets between one chain or another. So what we are used to be as a main chain that we deploy the token that is Ethereum, you can move it to BNB, Polygon, Base, etc. Looking 12 to 18 months ahead, what capabilities does the new token unlock that we are not possible with the previous token? Okay, well, one of the most exciting things that we are looking for in short term is the use of BKN2 for creation of tokens using agentics. And in this way, using X402 and a facilitator, you can pay your tokenization using the BKN2 with an agent or even by code. So even with Cloud Code, you can create an identity to your agent, and then the agent can execute a transaction or create tokens using BKN, independent on the chain that they are. So they can move it and execute it. MiCA regulation affecting smart contract migration? No, no MiCA regulation is affecting the smart contract migration. Okay. And Stephanie, if we have any other questions related to this? Okay, well, we don't have any more questions into the migration. I would like to remind the immigration deadline for tomorrow, 25th of July at 001 UTC time. And well, thank you everyone for being on this AMA.